Okay, so let's get right into it. We all have that one scary task. You know exactly the one I'm talking about. It's that huge project, that really ambitious goal, that life-changing habit we know we should start, but we don't. Today, we're going to break down the neuroscience of why that happens and learn a super simple hack to get started anyway. It is such a frustrating cycle, isn't it? We keep telling ourselves, oh, I'll do it when I feel motivated, or I just need a little inspiration to kick in. But for those really big, monumental tasks, that magical feeling, it rarely just shows up on its own. So what's actually going on inside our heads? Let's figure it out. All right, first, let's put a name to this feeling. I'm pretty sure you're going to recognize it immediately. It's what we can call scary task paralysis. This is that exact moment, the one where the sheer size of a goal is so overwhelming that it just freezes you right in your tracks. You know exactly what you're supposed to do, write that first page, put on your running shoes, open the textbook, but your brain and your body, they just refuse to cooperate. It honestly feels like you're fighting against yourself. But here's the thing, this paralysis, it isn't a failure of willpower. It's actually a quirk of our brain chemistry. And that brings us right to our next section, which we can call the dopamine motivation trap. You've probably heard of dopamine. It's often called the motivation molecule. Basically, your brain releases it when it thinks a reward is coming, giving you that jolt of energy and that drive to go get it. I mean, think about the urge you feel to check your phone. That's your brain anticipating the tiny reward of a new notification, and it's all fueled by a little hit of dopamine. And right here, this is the trap. For those huge, scary tasks, the reward, the trophy at the very end, is months, maybe even years away. Your brain looks at that super distant payoff and just says, nope, not worth the effort right now. So without that immediate promise of a reward, there's no dopamine rush to get you off the couch. You're just stuck, waiting for a motivation signal that your brain is never going to send. This lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? It shows the two paths we can take. Most of us, we live on the less side there, in motivation-based action. We're always waiting for some kind of feeling, which is totally unreliable and just drains our willpower. The fix is to shift over to the right side, intention-based action. It's proactive, it's consistent, and it relies on a decision you already made, not some fleeting feeling. So the big question is, how do we make that switch? How do we stop waiting for motivation and start acting on intention? Well, the answer is a brilliantly simple but incredibly powerful technique. It's called the if-then brain hack. Now, the official scientific term is implementation intention. I know, it sounds a little complex, but really it's just making a very specific if-then plan ahead of time. Think of it like you're creating a little program for your brain that just runs automatically when a specific trigger happens. The real magic is in this super simple formula, if-then. What it does is connect a specific cue, that's the if, with a specific behavior, that's the then. So instead of having a vague goal like, oh, I'll exercise more, you create a concrete, automatic rule for your brain to follow. No thinking required. And this quote just brilliantly explains the whole idea. Think about it for a second. You don't get in your car and just kind of feel your way to a new address, right? No, you plug it into your GPS and it tells you exactly when and where to turn. An if-then plan does the exact same thing for your behavior. It just removes the need for all that in-the-moment decision-making and willpower. Okay, so this is where it gets really practical. Let's actually walk through how you can build your very own custom-made action trigger to finally get going on that scary goal. It really is just 3 steps. First, you've got to be crystal clear about your goal. Second, and this is key, you have to pick a very specific cue, an event that already happens in your daily routine. It's got to be something you already do, like finishing dinner or making your morning coffee. Then finally, you define the exact action you will take, immediately, right after that cue. Let's look at these examples. To write a thesis, the cue isn't vague like, in the morning. No, it's specific. If I sit down at my desk with my morning coffee. And the action isn't just work on my thesis. It's then I will open the document and write for 15 minutes. You see how specific that is? It's the same thing for exercising. The cue is the 5 p.m. alarm. The action is just changing clothes. It's such a small, non-negotiable first step that it makes the whole process so much easier. Now, this is where the magic really happens, because by using this method over and over again, you're doing so much more than just tricking yourself into being productive. You are fundamentally changing how your brain works. Yeah, every single time you successfully follow your if-then rule, You're strengthening the neural pathway between that cue and the action. Over time, that connection becomes so strong that the behavior becomes automatic. It's not even a conscious choice anymore. It's just what you do. You are literally rewiring your brain's hardware to make discipline your default setting. So let's just recap the benefits here. This one simple technique lets you completely bypass procrastination. You make discipline an automatic reflex instead of a daily battle. You learn to act without having to wait for motivation, which saves your precious mental energy for the actual task. And maybe most importantly, this is how you finally start making real, consistent progress on those huge, scary, long-term goals. So I'm going to leave you with this question. I want you to think about that one big, intimidating goal you've been putting off. Using what we just went over, what is your if-then plan to take that very first step? Not tomorrow, not when you feel like it, but today.